Let's go live. Let's go live. Let's go live. Okay, we are live. Okay. Remember last time you and I were, and the team were kind of stuck with the streams, right? Comparison
Mhm.
streams and stuff like that. I know that Rami, hey Brian, had a proposal there, and I want to dedicate this live session to kind of discuss these two things: the multi-part form, because these are showstoppers at this point, multi-part and streams logging. So let's just take a look at what Rami did, and then we'll see what that looks like.
I got a PR up as well, mate.
You have a PR as well. Good.
Beautiful.
Okay, so this is Rami's proposal, and what he basically said, I think he created his own model, right? He basically went and said, "I'll create my own stream model, and out of that stream model, this is how I'm gonna do this." Okay, so create collections, type compares. Oh yeah, that's not .NET. Okay, and then he basically said comparison config.
Mm.
Customer property comparer with HTTP content header, non-validated equal new HTTP content comparer. Wow. And then, yeah, he did create his own type.
Is because you create your own type that emulates the other one, isn't it still breaking the law of axioms?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the problem with this approach. And
You may as well just made two different dictionaries and compared them.
yeah, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna work. So one idea that I had was, to basically try and use to mock the streams themselves. So the stream itself is just a mocked object. Instead of trying to create a stream, we would try and mock stream. And that's also another trick that we can use. And we could try this out. Let's just try this real quick, and then we'll go to multi-part form real quick. So here is, oh, here's Elbic. What up, dude? Nice hat. What's happening? You keep getting cooler and cooler. It's gonna be hard to keep up with you. Huh? Okay.
Most of the research I did actually pointed to the fact that you need to actually compare the bytes in the data.
The bytes in the data? Yeah, so okay, let's do this. So I'm gonna go back to the problem, and then one of the approaches was the thing is, I can't just go to someone with a straight face and tell them, "Oh, go create an entire class of a stream." That's us making it simple, which is another part of making it pretty, is to think about the person that needs to remember. If the code that you're writing you can't remember off the top, it's not pretty enough. Okay, that's another measure, just for people to understand. So I think his approach works. It's just still a little too complex. Still Rami, still not there yet. And that's okay, man. We do try things, and then we go back and forth. So what I'm going to try to do now is that instead of doing this, how about I just mock this thing? So I just go back and say, mock of, I don't know if that'll work, honestly, but we'll try it. So this should return the object itself, right? Just as a kind of a nice, little segue here. You can get your mock back, right? Like, let's say this is a stream, a mocked stream. It's an actual stream, right? So this guy here is a stream. Do you guys know how to get the mock object back, like the actual mock, where you can set things up? Ideas, thoughts? Huh? Can we do this? And then mocked stream, and then we can do setup and all the things that we like to do. So now I got my, so a mocked object is the mock and then the object itself, right? So an example of this, just so you understand, like we go and say something like this: I storage, what do we have? My OpenAI broker. right? So that's your guy. What did we call it? OpenAI broker. Isn't that what we called him? Oh, where are we? AI service. Yeah, I OpenAI broker right here, right? So watch this. When we do this, we have to go and say, oh, give me a mock of this first, right? So that's your OpenAI broker mock. And then we go and say, new mock like this, right? We do this so we can go and say OpenAI broker setup, and we do all that, right? But the thing is, in order for you to get that guy, you have to go and say object like that to get the actual mocked thing, right? But instead of doing that, you can flip it the other way around, right? You can go and say, well, instead of this, I can just say mock of OpenAI broker. And now this guy becomes the actual OpenAI broker. And if I ever want to set this up, I would go and say mock.get, and it will take care of this whole object for me. So you never ever have to say .object anymore, which I personally hate. I don't like it at all in any way, shape, or form. Right? Is this a new standard? Is this how we're going to be doing things? I'm still thinking about it, because it does look a little funny to say mock.get. Like, imagine this. Every time you go into your logic and you're trying to set something up, like imagine this. If I go and try to set something up in here, I'm going to have to go and say mock.get every single time. It looks pretty ugly, doesn't it? Right? What's Catalan saying? Mock.value? No, mock.object, dude. What are you, Java guy? What happened to you? All right. So there's that in mind. So that's not an option. That's not a good option for us. That's not a very good option for us. Right? I'm still thinking about it though.
I'm not 100% sold. You guys can still hear me, okay? I don't know why StreamYard now is switching like super generic camera of the entire environment versus just stay here with me. Okay, let's go back to this. Would this work though? If I go and say mock of stream, would this solve our problem? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go back here and let's run the test. Florian! Ça va? Ça va? I don't know. I think it is ça va. I don't know. Trying my best here. That didn't work. So why is that? It says cannot compare objects with a non-integer, and the same problem that we were having, right? So we're gonna need to find a solution for this problem, right? We need to be able to create, if the problem is the compare object itself, like the whole it is the same as and all that. Okay, fine. We can work around that by basically going and saying, okay, that stream that you're passing in, like in this area when we say same external AI request as, and it has the streams inside of it, we would basically gonna need to go and say, try to skip some of the stream properties that don't matter, right? But that still feels a little bit hacky.
Mm.
And that's why we use our own, kind of, I try to localize models as much as I can. Right. I try to localize this as much as I can, because this is what happens when you do that, right? So now time for us to kind of go Google stuff then, or maybe GPT stuff, because I honestly, we still don't have an answer and we want to have an answer. So let's find what ChatGPT has to say to us, right?
I basically went down that last path you were speaking, then I worked out how to configure it to ignore the streams. And then and then I worked out, then I basically extracted the bytes from the stream and compared the arrays.
Okay, what the heck is this guy doing? It's saying mock stream, so mock that guy, and then stream mock setup. It is read. When you read, you return this array. What? What am I looking at here? So Wow. Okay, let's steal that and let's see what happens. I have no idea. I don't know. It could be good. It could be bad. We don't know. Let's find out. Let's go back here. We're just gonna, keep kind of poking around until someone comes up with an answer. Like someone's gonna have to feel so bad for us, and they'll be like, "Okay, fine, I'll go figure it out." I do have to recognize though that that Rami put a lot of time and effort into this. I appreciate that. Stream mock.object. Okay, would this work? I don't know. Let's find out. You won't find me a lot picking up garbage from the internet and smashing it into the code like that, but this is a special case. So this is saying cannot compare objects with non-integer whatever. Let's take this back here. Let's be prompt engineers for a day. We may as well, right? I am trying to mock a stream and compare two streams, two objects of type stream in C#, and I am getting the following exception. Any ideas? Any ideas how to solve this issue? Let's find out. So look at this. They're creating these memory streams like that, right? Which is interesting. And then assert are equal. So they just create the streams just like that. Is that it? And you just go and compare them. You know, it seems like this. Whatchamacallit, the compare logic is doing something a little bit deeper than that. That's what this seems like, right? And I'm wondering if that's really all it takes. Let's go back here. Let's do this. I mean, technically that's the original code that we had in here. So if I go into here, isn't that the original code? That's technically the original code that we had. It's very possible that the problem that we have here is the streams themselves, right? And that's another problem, right? What we can do, we can have compare logic kind of ignore these and have this guy basically have a special sort of, comparison thing going on. Can I scope this for once? Let's see here if I can do this. I can't scope this, can I? I cannot. Right? Which basically means that we basically gonna need to change our comparison strategy. We're gonna ignore the stream and then go again and say, is this the same stream as this one? And what would that look like? Right? I'm gonna try something here as well, like another trick that I have in mind, which is basically to go and say, let's try it this way. So I'm gonna basically take away this whole thing, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead and say external AI file request. And then I'm gonna go here and say request like that. And then I'm gonna try two things. I'm gonna try to say request dot, and I'm assuming the file is the one that has the stream in it. Yeah. Equal that, because that's basically what's happening underneath. It's basically doing the comparison this way. Is there more to it? There's that. Let's see here. Does not contain definition of returns async. Yes, it does. Come on. There you go. That's technically what we're doing underneath. We're basically going and saying, hey, for each property of those, like today, if I just go here and say, give me the purpose, just the purpose, don't worry about the stream, and put that exact same logic into, let's see, requests. When in doubt, just keep adding more things until it gives you, one sec, I kind of ruined it a little bit. Yeah, this should be purpose. And this also should be purpose, right? So if I steal this whole bit in here and throw it in here, I bet you that test will be passing. I think. If that test doesn't pass with this, then we have a bigger problem to solve. Let's just see. Let's poke around until we get to the bottom of it.
I just posted in private chat how I excluded the stream.
Actual file should be equivalent to expected file config. Yeah. But we still need to include it. That's the problem. Like we can, but okay. Now, why is this guy freaking out now? Timeouts are not supported on this stream. So does that bring us back to the whole? I think we solved that last time, right? We basically went and said, when you create a stream, do we do using something like that? Where did we use that? We did it in here, I think, using like this, something like that. And then we went back here and we basically said, give me the, run this one more time and let's just see. No, still. We did solve that timeouts issue. Oh, cannot access a closed stream. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, we tried that and it didn't work out. And then it said timeouts are not supported on this stream. Right. Does it care if we make this a memory stream, like explicitly say this is a memory stream? This is not just a stream. It's a memory stream. Does it matter? It shouldn't. We could give it a shot. So this guy's like this. I don't think it would, but let's just give it a shot. This session today is for poking around and being confused until we get to the bottom of it.
Well, welcome to my weekend.
Did you have a lot of fun? Sounds like you had a lot of fun. So okay, so even with the purpose, we still have a bigger issue, right? Because it's not even letting us get through with the street, right? What did Rami say? The getter and the setter implementation of memory stream throw the exception, invalid operation exception, timeouts are not support. Yep, yep. Can I get rid of the stream completely as a model and just work with byte arrays?
I won't let you do that.
Okay.
In testing, I will, but not with the not inside our
Not in the model.
Because we got to be able to handle up to 1 gig.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so let me revert all of this. Yeah, the biggest problem that we have here is with a stream. And we shouldn't be even dealing with these types at all. You know, we should be working with our own local models, right? That's the whole idea of doing that. A byte array, it seems like much easier to compare than anything else. But this thing wouldn't even let us get through with it. Like it wouldn't let us even create the stream and pass it around as a value, right? And maybe it's just due to my lack of knowledge on the stream side and all that. But yeah, so timeouts are not supported on this stream. Timeouts are not supported on this stream. And what Rami says, the getter and setter implementation of memory stream throw the exception. Oh, so that's why you created your own. I see what you did. He says you can try to mock read timeout and write timeout properties to get rid of that exception. Let's try, Rami. Maybe that's it. So I'm gonna go down here.
Isn't the root cause of this exception the fact that it was disposed?
No. No. The root cause of the exception was when I did using, it says the stream is closed. Another reason not to use using. But then again, there's a good argument there. So here's mock stream. So this will be a new mock of a memory stream. And then what Rami's basically saying is, you know, go ahead and set up, and this is my stream. And then we're basically saying stream.read. What did he say? Read read timeout. Yeah, that would be a get. So if I say get like this, set up get, right? And that guy, what does this guy originally return? It returns an int? Oh, sure, dude. Like 0 maybe. And then let's do the same thing here, and that would be, what did he say? Write timeout. What does write timeout give us? An int? Great. And then here's your mock stream dot object. Let's find out. Maybe that's it. So we're mocking the actual thing. See, it gets really hairy when you're pushing in a certain direction that's just, yeah, Rami's right. Right? Now, can I get away with mocking the whole thing? Thank you, Rami. This is sweet. This is very sweet. I wish he would come on the stream sometime. It would be nice. Don't you think? It would be really nice. So he says I'm shy. I'm not gonna come on the stream.
Hey, I didn't get a choice. Jeez.
Oh, you don't get a choice, dude. You're just gonna come in. I'm just gonna drag you in and be like, come over here. Where do you think you're going? You know, okay, let's do this. So now let's run it fully. This is gonna be interesting. Yeah. So okay, so we passed one, but now the second one is cannot compare objects with a non-integer indexer, and it's calling is valid indexer compare. Just give me what property you're working with. That would make me really happy, dude. Object file headers non-validated. Non-validated. So that's why he did that little thing with skipping let's go back to his code. Where's Rami's code? Give me a sec here. That's why he did this part. So he basically went all the way up here and he said comparison config custom prior HTTP content header and then non-validated. Why did he say custom compare logic doesn't support comparing collections with non-integer indexer? Right. I think this is an okay trade-off, but let me just try it first and see if it works. So if I go down here and if I go into compare logic, this dot compare logic. Wait, Rami, what is comparison log? Where did you get that from? Oh, did he has to create his own model in here? Oh, he did, didn't he? Ah, that's why. Bro. What if we skipped non-validated? Do we even care about non-validated in here? Like, what if I go and say var comparison configurations equal new comparison config, right? And I basically said comparison configuration dot on property. Yeah, oh, that's what he was having. Custom property comparer. That's what he had. It wasn't the compare logic itself. Okay, and so there's ignore property, and when you are ignoring for the stream content, I'm assuming stream content, and then here c dot headers dot non-validated, like this, and then we pass this down here. Would this work? Now, the one thing I really want to double check on is, sorry, content, is whether this is needed at all across, because I wouldn't ignore something that we need, right? That's not going to work out for us. But let's just see if that works.
I'm going to throw a red herring, a spanner in the works here. Are we really wanting to post the stream content, or do we want to post a stream? This sort of gets back to the argument of what you want RESTful sends to receive.
Yep, that's the second topic for today. What did he say?
If you wanted to receive primitives, this is not going to be the way.
He says compare logic doesn't support comparing collections with a non-integer indexer. HTTP content headers inherits from iRead-only dictionary with a string-based indexer. Rami, I'm wondering if I need it at all. So I'm wondering if I can just skip the whole thing because we're not really passing, like, I'm wondering if I can just go like this and say, hey, throw away all of this. Do we need it in the stream that we're passing in? That will be the next step to that. Yeah, that works. I basically, this is the, you guys know what the ostrich algorithm is? Anyone heard of that before?
No, never.
Oh, that's a great algorithm to learn, you know. The ostrich algorithm, you know, basically says, put your head in the sand and pretend that the problem is not there and it's just going to disappear. And we have Brian here. He will confirm. He has a lot of ostriches over there. So in computer science, the ostrich algorithm is a strategy of ignoring potential problems on the basis that they may be exceedingly rare. It is named after the ostrich. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. All right, what is he saying? I think I remember HTTP content headers only contained content length. Yeah, so the real question here is, we have this working, but the real question here is, does this, for those of you who are not familiar what an ostrich is, and that's okay, you may not know what it is, it puts its head in the sand, like when it sees danger, right, Brian? They're very famous in Australia, you know?
No, they're not Australian at all. You're thinking of emus.
Are you serious? Where are they
Yeah.
at?
Africa,
Look,
I believe. Yeah.
look, it just digs its head in the sand.
Mm.
And then it'd be like, well, this is danger. Danger is not there anymore.
Like a little toddler hiding by putting his hands over his eyes.
Why do they do that? Why do they do that? That's so weird. Anyway, so I'm following the ostrich algorithm here, but no, in all honesty, oh, so they're not in Australia. Where are they? Where are they? Ostriches live throughout Africa. Oh, I'm so sorry, Brian. I kind of completely. I was like, okay, look, just Australia has all the animals. Just send. Just
Ostriches
go.
are probably harmless, and emus will kill you.
So listen, the only thing that we would want to do is we want to verify that the headers don't play any role into what we pass in to for a multi-part form.
Mm.
The only way for us to figure that out is to just go to the source code. For those of you who are not familiar, if you go to source.net, I know that sounds weird. And then here's a multi-part form. And here's the source code of this thing. Right? And as far as I remember, so we're passing it as a stream. And then what do you do to it, Brian? Do you wrap it in something like HTTP content or something like that?
Yeah. See, it becomes a stream. So you pass to it a stream, and it becomes a stream content. And a stream content inherits from HTTP content.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole thing is a recursive model.
Yeah, well, that's fun. So you do add it as an HTTP content though, right?
No.
What does Robert say? Your friend is saying we have emus.
Yeah.
And we even went to war with emus. What is that? Explain that. It's okay. This is a moment right there. What's happening here, Brian? Translate.
It's true. The Australian government went to war with the emus.
Oh
It's
my
quite
God.
It was quite humorous, and we lost. The emus won.
Are you guys serious? You win against oh, you have these. But that's probably what I was thinking. Well, I wouldn't go to war with this guy. Come on, look at it. Are you
Apparently,
kidding me?
there was over 20,000 of the buggers running around wild in the west, and they were devastating crops. And the army got involved, and they tried to take them out, but the emus won. They just were too evasive and too quick.
I wouldn't go to war with that. Look at this look. That look is enough. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, that's it. All right. Cool. Oh, that's hilarious. You know, the other thing that I read about today, completely unrelated. Brian, have you, or maybe Elbic, you know, have you guys heard of, there was this, you know, somehow it's related to AI. You'll find the purpose of the story. There's a railway, a monkey trained, yeah, Jack the baboon. So this dude, he trained this monkey to kind of run the railway system, and he ran it without a mistake for 8 years. They even paid him salary for it. How crazy is that? You can see that that this dude has no legs. Look what he's standing on, right? And he did make a mistake, Jack the baboon, and then he died. He had tuberculosis or something, and then he died. It's a very interesting story. That was in 1890. Yeah, I was right. You know, cause of death, tuberculosis, right there. Um, Someone brought that up in the discussion about, oh, AI is taking our jobs and stuff like that. It's a very interesting story. You know, it's a very interesting story. Anyway, do we actually care about headers? Like the stream that we pass in, do we care about header? What I see here is, you know, add internal HTTP content, and then you create a header content disposition header value from form data, and then it creates its own header out of it. So maybe it cares about just the byte array. Maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Thoughts? When you create the multi-part form, you do call add, right? Add with a HTTP content and a name, right? And the HTTP content, so HTTP content, it takes in a stream in one of its constructors. Is that right? I think.
So a HTTP content is a base class, and stream content inherits from it. So you pass in a stream content, and the stream content has, it'll take, yep.
Yep, so stream content will take content, and then what does it do with it? Throw if null, initialize content, stream to stream copy. So it just copies the stream over.
Now it does all this asynchronously. So even though after you made the post, your client may still be posting data.
The one thing that I'm seeing here is that there's no mention of headers at all. So is it actually safe to assume that, is it safe to assume that headers are not something that we should care about and just move on? So that's why he wrote the custom comparer. Now I understand Rami's code. He basically went and said, oh, look, it doesn't know how to compare non-integer based collections. So let me go write a custom comparer that will compare these. Rami, how do you feel about ignoring headers? Ostrich algorithm. Is that a good idea?
I think we should build a custom comparer to just compare the stream content, which is the bytes. I really don't think we can get away with that.
Well, it's not. Well, Brian, it's not ignoring the whole thing. It's still comparing the stream. I mean, a stream is not just the headers, right? Like if you go in here, it's not just the headers. If you go inside this guy, it has, oh, is that all it has? Just the headers? Oh no, that's bad. So everything is actually in the headers, basically. So it has the content type, it has the content. Yeah, we can't really ignore that. But where's the collection? The collections that it's trying to ignore is allow content encoding, content language. These are pretty much the things that are causing the pain, I think. Where's this non-validated thing that we were looking at earlier? If that's the case, if I go back here by one, last modified, headers, I don't see any other properties in here. Yeah, so in here, it did have non-validated. Now, where is this coming from? If I go into the definition of this is coming from HTTP headers, non-validated. HTTP headers, non-validated, and what's inside this guy? Is that a struct or something? No, it is a dictionary that's string-based, that's why. Rami says I don't have any preference. The thing is, when I ignore non-validated, it's still freaking out for some reason. So do we ignore the headers completely? And if I ignore the header, then there is no stream, right? Because I basically ignored the piece that has all the data in it, technically. Right? Let's go to the file definition here. This is the actual, how cool is this in Visual Studio? It'll kind of decompile the library for you. That's very sweet. It's very hard to read though. Look at this. Gee. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Brian, going back to your question, you said something around
I asked whether we should, what should we be actually sending across to RESTful Sense?
the
Should
model.
we, the model, which
Yeah.
include, so which model? We're actually going to post a AI model.
Yeah. And it's gonna pick up every property and create a form from it. All right, tell me why is this bad?
Because why would RESTful Sense need to know about our models for this project?
It doesn't. It just knows about a generic model that it needs to, and it's not specific to this project. Like we've never did, we've never did form content post before. So this is not specific to AI project. It's not.
So the
Right?
problem with the generic model, unless we make it recursive itself, as far as RESTful Sense is concerned, a multi-part content can have many streams. It can have many string contents. In this use case, we're only doing one of each. So we've got to be careful with the model we pass to it. If we only have one of each in the model, we're sort of breaking the rules of what we can do.
So let me try to understand this. So if I go into, give me a sec. If I go into, here's my notepad. So if I have public something, and this public something has, public stream one thing, and it has public stream another thing, right? And it has public string something else, like this, right? And I want this to turn into the form, so underneath it will be, the HTTP multi-part.
See, there's already some issues there.
What?
With the stream, we've got to also pass in what key that it gets put in the index with, which will be in this case file, and we also have to pass the file name.
Yeah, so remember we talked about this. We said that this guy is gonna be what goes in here, and we may need just one more thing in here that we're gonna call REST form, and we just pass in however many keys we want in here. No, not a good solution.
Well, it sort of goes back to now we're creating a custom model. You didn't want me to create any more new classes.
Yeah, but that's like Well, first of all, I hate these to death, just so you know. Like, don't think that I'm super happy about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just so you know, Brian, um, if it wasn't for our integration tests, I would have had to enforce this rule in here. Just so you know, there is I would have needed to go and say, public void foo, and then I would go and say var external new external file request, and then I would have needed to go and say, okay, I need to validate these guys, these little guys are sitting up here. And you know, these are possible, right? You can actually go and say, does this type, so check this out. You can go here and say type of, and this is just for people to kind of also know about this, you know, should, because you're comparing a type, right? And then you can go and say, you know, have, what did they call it? Decorator? Yeah, be decorated with, right? And then you go and say JSON property. So this is me enforcing. Do you remember the dude that went and changed purposes, the purpose? Do you remember that, Brian? And you freaked out about it. Do you remember you told me, hey, wait a second, what is he thinking? What is he doing here, right? So how do you enforce that? You basically go and say, well, this attribute needs to have some value, and this value needs to say file. That's how I would do that. If it wasn't for our validation test, or sorry, integration and acceptance test, I would have had to do this, but I don't test my model. Why would we test our models? That's a bad idea. Do you know what was the other option that I thought about? Is to basically go and say, okay, give me your raw string serialized model and show me what did you call your properties. Right? These like, just so you understand, I was just having a conversation just this morning with someone that says, we don't have to handle exceptions. Don't worry about validations. Just so you understand, we're pushing here towards a level of quality and standardization that people don't care about.
Yep.
That's their problem, right?
So I agree. I can see how this works, right? I'm just worried about the complexity of it. Again, we are introducing a new model that people using RESTful Sense are going to have to be aware of. They're going to have to be aware of. They've got to construct their own model with these attributes that we're providing from RESTful Sense.
Okay, Elbic, tell me what you're thinking. Say what you just said.
Yeah, I was just looking at the source code of a very popular RESTful library,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty complex. If you look at
Show me what you got. So just so people understand, Elbic is saying, okay, these other REST.NET libraries, how do they handle this? It's probably a nightmare. I'm pretty sure it will be a nightmare, you know. But let's just take a look and see. There you go. Can you, yeah, thank you. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, what's the multi-part form look like? Oh
so
boy.
I just opened this, and here they have some streams, and they've initialized it. And for
Okay.
request content,
Oh, that's the build content. Yeah, yeah. That sounds
HTTP content.
like what Brian was trying to do the other day.
Right from the start, but anyhow.
They're adding the streams. Look, they're adding the streams somehow. And
so a minute ago, you were looking at the stream content, and you looked at the methods to create it.
Yeah.
So I took those signatures and actually put them into the parameters for RESTful Sense as optional parameters. Did you see my pull request?
I did. Let's take a look. Thank you, Elbic. Let's take a look at.
But Caitlin makes a good point. That like it's really it's not that intuitive.
It's not.
Mm.
It's not.
I've been beating my head about this for a while, and it's really hard to come up with something that's easy and intuitive.
That's the hard part about software engineering. So yeah, you did the params.
Yeah. Now I process those params and I make sure that they yes.
So you took the content params and then you basically went and said,
down a bit further, I think you might.
yeah, process params. Where is that? There it is. So you iterated.
Yeah. And then, so each of those cases are those signatures that we saw for the stream content.
Yeah.
And the string content. In this case,
I love how you used the pattern matching here, so to validate the types instead of just going. Ah, nice, nice. It should be a fat arrow though.
Yeah. I sort of stopped at this stage because I needed your approval whether I was heading in the right direction.
Yep. Yep. Well, Brian, even if you say that, like, the objects that you will be passing in would be, I'm assuming, streams.
Streams,
right?
that's native.
And how do you tell what the name is that will be assigned to that stream? Let's take a
Go
look
down a
away.
bit further. The parameter, I included all the parameters that the stream content took, which included the name and the file. Yeah, it's all there.
So you basically, it works. You tried it, right?
Mm-hmm. I can demonstrate it on the screen at the moment if you want to switch to my screen.
We will. We will.
But
so,
again, this is all down to what we want to go with. I don't think demonstrating, proving that it works is the issue here. We can get it to work many different ways.
What you're basically saying is that someone on the broker side, you're basically saying the broker has to know upfront about the properties, the names that needs to be passed in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brokers can't do that. How would they know that?
Yes. My broker code is bordering on logic, so.
The only option that I can think of here is the one that's most appealing is just to take a model with attributes on it and just process it and say this is a form. At least from a user perspective. That's the only thing that I can think of at the moment. And it's not, I promise you, Brian, I promise you, it's not OpenAI specific. It's very.
Yeah, I agree if we go with the form and the attributes that is not OpenAI specific. I thought you were going to present to me a model that only had the AI specifics in it. But yeah, I can do this, but now we go into the realm of how we handle this and how do we test this in RESTful sense.
Yes.
How are we going to process the errors that it generates in RESTful sense?
You're going to have to build a broker that extracts the that you pass it a model or a property, or it gives you back a list of the properties and the attributes. So the structure.
Yeah, I've done reflection before. It's pretty true. Yeah.
You would literally call it a reflection broker, and it will basically, ideally, I want people, if I'm writing something like this, I want to say post form async. Here is my student model, and here's my URL, and here's the student, and we're done. And you go and take that student model and turn it into a multi-part form. That's good engineering. That's world-class software.
Yep.
Right. I also know, just so we are open to learning from everyone and everything, I think I'll be kind of, this is a good idea there. How does easy rest? I know there is bunch of libraries. What is this? Is this matrices? That's is it rest ease or something like that? I know there's another library that people were talking about the other day. It doesn't really handle the exceptions the way I want it to, but how do these folks do? Let's go to source. Rest ease. Have anyone here heard of rest ease at all?
Never.
Nothing? Never? Okay. And this is the rest client. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. And I don't know how they handle the okay, just okay, top .NET REST libraries. AutoMapper is not a REST library, is it? Is it now? Most popular nope, 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 nope. REST API libraries. Rami says, what about a form builder with a fluent interface?
Been down that path too, haven't I?
Well, I like how like we go say, oh, what about this? And Brian's like, tried that, been there, done that. Thank you. But but to Rami's point, how would that who would construct that? The broker? Well, how does the broker know about the parameters of that form, right? Are you gonna hard code it there? You know, what would that look like? That becomes borderline business logic. So, okay, so there's a library called REST client. What is REST API? And then service stack, HTTP utils, Floral. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that people use. I'd rather just make sure that RESTful sends continues to be standard compliant. So Brian, that's the trick. That's the homework, basically. The homework is to basically go and say, um, we need a reflection broker, and the reflection broker will pick up the property names and the attributes.
Yep.
And call the attribute something nice, please. Like call it something like um,
Attribute A, B.
do we call it do we, do we call
Sorry.
it do we call it rest form attribute or something like that? Because you're gonna have to pass both the name
Mm-hmm.
and any other additional attributes. It's gonna be params kind of thing.
Yep.
Because it's not gonna read the property. I don't want it to read the property. I want it to get the value of the property and map it to the proper HTTP content. That's
Yeah.
the best option I can think of, my friend. And I know it's a lot of work, and I'm very sorry for you, but it is
No,
what it is.
like I'll enjoy writing the code to do the reflection, but I probably need some help to structure all the testing for all the errors. Make sure we do it compliant.
Let's do it. And if we have to do like I said, if we have to do a spin-off on the side out of this session, I'm totally fine with that. If we have to do a little bit of a spin-off, I'm
Mhm.
totally okay with that. Now, going back to this sucker here, because that's the so that issue is at least we have a potential solution there, right? And that's totally okay. I'd rather be right than I'd rather be late and right than early and wrong. That's just how my brain works. But going back to this this guy, I don't know if ignoring the headers is the best option for us. If it has all the data, how do we know it has all the, how do we know the headers don't have all the data, right? And how do we know that,
Again,
you
I
know,
don't think we need to be building a stream content in our library. I think we just need to be passing a stream. It's going to be the job of RESTful Sense to build the stream content.
where did we pass the stream content, Brian?
Weren't we looking at a stream content?
Oh,
just
is that what we did?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, this caused me angst. First thing I did was change this back to a stream.
so do you just want to, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with, dude, I'm okay with that.
Mm.
Okay, Brian, look at me. I'm fine. You know, I'm okay with that. So if I go on to, hold on, let's go here.
Because I didn't think it was the job of this library to be dealing with stream contents. Stream, sure, but stream contents, no.
Fine. So if I go here and say random stream,
Mm-hmm.
would this actually solve our problems? Like all of them?
Yeah, it'd make it a lot easier now in our library.
And what does Rami think about that? Let's see. If I run this, if I go here and just do a run, are you serious? Huh. What happened? Let's see. It's probably some of the crap that I'm doing. Oh yeah, stream. That's the business logic that Kailu was because of the thing, right?
Yeah.
So that is that. Post file async. What is wait? What is post file async? Where is this coming from? Oh, we should probably not call it that. See that? See how that confused me? Because I'm looking at post file async. I'm thinking, oh, a broker, you know, but it's not. It's not. So if I run this again, there's no reason why this wouldn't work, actually. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, that's okay with me. So we're just giving you a stream and you know what to do with it?
Yep.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll know how to build that with the attributes. Yeah.
I think we solved our problems. I think. Rami said, I wasn't sure the purpose of using stream content was, so I left it as is. I thought the model has to have a file name and the content. It does. But now that we're doing it this way, well, we have file and we have purpose. And if Brian does the stuff that we're talking about, I don't even, to be honest with you, Brian, why are we putting JSON property here?
Yeah, that was the other thing I got rid of. Yep. Because we're not, they're there for the sake of a deserialization, and we're not doing these. Yeah.
So instead, it will be RESTful form field, something like that, or REST field. REST field. What do you think about that?
Or form part. I don't know. Yeah.
Form part.
Mm.
Because it's
REST.
multi.
Yeah, it's part. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's one of the parts of a form.
And then you basically say name, and then the other property would be what? What do you call that?
So it'll be file name and name. Yeah. So name is what it gets put in the index. You know, it's its key for the index, and then one of the other attributes it needs is a file name.
Oh, full name. Full name. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry, file name. Yeah, there's a file name and a name. The name is the index, is the key that's used in the dictionary. And it's different to the file name. So in the index, we use.
So wait. So you're gonna have to say
in the dictionary we have file, and then we also have the file name, which will be something dot, like for example, it'll be something like .jsonl. Yeah.
I gotcha. Then in that case, so wait, I think we're headed in the right direction. Then I want to go here and say form file or form field. And the form file will have the file name. So it will have name and it will have file name.
Yep.
And the form field just has a name for the dictionary, and that's it.
Yes.
Do we
Perfect.
call it perfect? Yeah.
Mm.
It's a lot of work.
Do we want to prepend those attribute names with REST or RESTful sense or something to know that it's coming? It's for.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you know, I mean, with the controllers, we called it RESTful controller. So I'm just gonna say RESTful form file and RESTful form field. I think that's okay. And by the way, I think we're doing something completely unique and novel here. Because I know some other libraries just don't give a crap, you know. It'd be like, oh, it just works. Move on. Give me that promotion, man. Give me that reward. If it works, don't fix it.
Plus we're exciting Wardy getting him.
Oh yeah, I can. Oh, he's gonna watch this and he's gonna go bonkers this morning. Oh my God, I can't wait for him to see this. You know, you'd be like, hey, Hassan. What? Okay, Lou, any feedback for us?
No, keep going.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay, I think we have this. I'm gonna revert this part, just this part. And then tomorrow, you know, now I can move forward with this because I can basically go and say, yeah, why are we, dude, we're completely doing this wrong. Why were we even converting it to StreamCon? I think Rami is also right. And Brian, you're also right. It's not our job. You
Yeah,
know what this is?
we're too far
Yeah,
down the rabbit hole.
it's not our job. You're just sending a model, and that's all you call about. What is Paul going to ask? Look, you know, you never know how a conversation goes with Paul. Do you know what I was talking to him about this morning? Just take a wild guess. Brian, take a wild guess. What topic were we talking about? You know, we were talking about evolution
Mm.
and creationism. And I'm like, my man, you know, I'm trying to figure out RESTful sense. What are you doing this morning? Just, I'm like, I know, Brian, I know you're thinking in code. I am just like I am fully engaged in this because RESTful Sense is an extremely important library, right?
Mm.
And it does really, really important things. I think the initiative that Christo is driving with moving it to the standard community organization and then really kind of rethink the whole thing, I think that's completely beautiful. And I think also, I don't know if it was Rami or someone else who said, hey, we need to make the RESTful call kind of fluent. I think that's okay too. I'm totally fine with that. But this is all exposure layer. Like when you think about these things, you're thinking, oh, that's just another exposure layer, right?
I really want to rip RESTful Sense apart as well, and I've been talking to Christo about this. I really think we need.
You suckers. You took all the permissions, and I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes.
Oh
I don't know
well,
what you guys are doing.
we're butchers. What I'm proposing is we drop the WebAssembly library and we just make a client library.
Oh,
Um,
but by the way, just so you guys, I'm okay. I'm okay with that idea. I think we couldn't drop WebAssembly. By the way, just so you know, Goodmunder, he went and really merged the whole conflict. This is why you're seeing some cleanup stuff in here. But he really did. He merged the whole conflict thing. So you know, even though it's not his fault, it
Mhm.
really isn't. He basically reached out to me. He said, "It's okay, man. You know, I'm trying to get myself kind of you know, comfortable with Git and the merge history and all that. That guy is scary. Like if you are, I think he's in Iceland. If you are someone in Iceland and you're looking for one badass engineer, that guy right there, you know, and yeah, I think we have a passing test. That's what I was trying to say. So, tomorrow then, what we're gonna need to do, you know, Brian, you're gonna be doing that RESTful, so I'm not gonna have you do anything tomorrow. But Kailu, you were doing oh, pull and push. I hope we don't end up with a merge conflict. Did we? Oh, of course we did. Hold on. Let me fix this real quick. AI files. I thought he did fix that problem. I thought he did fix that problem. External AI file response. We have a merge conflict. I could deal with that later. That's not a problem. What I just really want to do is, so Brian, you have this task for RESTful Sense, and Kailu, you owe me a failing test. Yeah? No? So tomorrow you're gonna write a failing test for us.
Did you make that test pass the logic?
Yeah. That's what
Okay.
that's what this whole session was about.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Compare incoming, take incoming. So I just want to merge this as well, just to get people in a good state. What changed in here, Goodmender? What did you do? So this is remote incoming. So I'm just gonna take all incoming because I trust him. Also because I'm lazy a lot. And so does my world fall apart then? Let's find out. Don't. Yeah, no, it's fine. We're fine. Guys, what are we tripping about? I don't understand. What's the problem? Yeah, accept merge result. Yeah. So about 34 changes. These are the things that he changed to merge both files together. So I'm just gonna say a merge in here, and I'm gonna commit staged, and then I'm just gonna run all the tests just to make sure. See, that's another for the person that I was talking to this morning. That's why we have unit tests, because when you merge stuff like that and you don't know what's broken, you know, that's your guarantee right there. You know, you can't build cutting edge stuff, dude, without running tests. You know, just saying. You know who you are. Okay, so I took all that guy's stuff except for one thing. Did I just continue to honor the model and that's why it freaked out? Yeah. So if I change this to stream, and if I go into my logic here, the service, and I fix that one thing, that's this deleted piece, that's his. He basically went and said, okay, we need deleted as well, because when you delete a file, they add this additional property in there, right? Where is the part where we're doing, okay, I think this is it. So if I run this, let's see, what am I missing? OpenAI broker, external AI file response. That should be this. And we don't need this guy anymore. I hope I'm doing this right. I hope. Yeah, so this is all pass, and then if I run everything, we should have a good passing test here. There you go. It's lovely, right? So this is also another merge. Okay, so Kailu, you owe me a failing test tomorrow. You don't have to do it tonight. We'll do it together tomorrow, right? And then we'll go back to Elbic and have him do some of that work as well.
Yep.
But,
Okay.
okay, so there's that part. Any questions, comments from anybody? Anything at all? Minor fix, change stream content to stream. And Brian, you are clear on our side of the world, right?
Yeah,
Or
I'm
rest-
good. Yeah, even though I'm on the other side of the world, but I'm good.
All right, I think we're in a good state. Thank you all so much. You know, I'm gonna wrap it up here. You know, for the community, also thank you for your contribution, Rami, Gudminder, all these folks. I appreciate you all. Questions, comments? Drop comment in the comment section. Quick session, but we gonna get. I think this is just the one blocker that we have. So Elbic, we get this foundation service done. We need an orchestration service. We need a client that we can upload to, and then we need to test fine-tuned models. And I could swear we have the status of the file somewhere. We should. If we don't, we need to check it out. Okay. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you. Take care.